Boys and girls, welcome to the third installment of my map analysis series, where we break down every Treyarch Zombies map. I have previously done Shadows of Evil and Der Eisendrache. If you want to go check those out, there's a playlist for it. In this episode, however, we have Zetsubou no Shima. Zetsubou no Shima is Japanese for Island of Despair, and that's exactly what this map is. It takes place out on a Pacific island, an island where Division 9, a Japanese research group similar to Group 935, experimented with Element 115 on the wildlife, which led to mutated plants, spores, thrashers, all of the above. In fact, just about every living monstrosity on the island is a result of Element 115. The giant spiders, the horrific plants, and this thing that took over Tokyo. We'll get to that later. After previously extracting the souls from Richtofen and Dempsey 1.0, the mission is now to extract the soul from Tokyo 1.0. Like every BO3 map, the purpose of Zetsubou is very clear and very straightforward. The opening cutscene displays our hero slicing and dicing through the enemies only to have the ship explode, so they swim to the shore of the island. When the crew surfaces, they see more than what they bargained for. The island is essentially one giant mutation. The map was designed to be one of the scariest experiences we had ever seen. For some it was, but for the majority of us, it didn't really live up to that. The map is still very creepy in some respects, but it's not scary. The atmosphere did certainly deliver upon the creepiness. Elements contributing to this creepiness were the bleak, empty sky, the general darkness of the map, the isolation from the rest of society, the genetically modified wildlife, and the abnormally large creatures. Being alone in a normal jungle is scary enough, but in a jungle like this, pack a few extra pairs of underpants. The map may not have been as scary as they wanted it to be, but Treyarch definitely nailed the atmosphere of the map. It's a bit bone-chilling and nothing more. I think that's what zombies should feel like. The color scheme is also fantastic. Most of it is just pretty much green, but the sky above is entirely gray. There are some colorful spots as well around the map, like some blues, some oranges. They present a few vibrant colors every now and then, so you're not just constantly seeing green, gray, and they made it feel like an actual jungle. The plants look very realistic, and they just really like to put a lot of detail into these Black Ops 3 maps. Tropical maps like this and Shangri-La are typically very hit or miss. You either very much like the atmosphere or you very much don't. I think most people do like it as long as it's done properly, and I think Treyarch did nail the atmosphere of this map. So I would say the aesthetic and the atmosphere are actually fantastic, but why does ZNS get so much hate? Why is it regarded as one of the worst maps in a lot of people's list? It's 3 words: set up process. Any great qualities of Zetsubou are immediately hidden behind this atrocious setup process. Setting up on this map is next to unbearable. If you haven't experienced it, let me take you down the road of what it's like to set up on this map with no gobblegum. First, you have to open up 3 doors to get to power. Seems easy until you arrive at the power and realize it's actually only half of the power, and it's also temporary. You have to rush over to the opposite side of the map, opening up 3 more doors minimum to turn on that temporary power, only to then open up the bunker, open up another expensive door, and then turn on the full power, assuming that the other power system didn't turn off while you were doing all of this. Just turning on the power, as an experienced player, can take up to 15 minutes, and thousands upon thousands of points. All of your points that should be going towards getting a good wall weapon is immediately thrown at the doors. Turning on the power is a chore on a very long list of chores. Turning on the power isn't even a quarter of the setup process. You have to grab 3 shield parts, 3 gas mask parts, 3 KT4 parts, 3 Pack-a-Punch parts. That's right, Pack-a-Punch parts. To acquire all of these parts means you have to open up thousands upon thousands of points worth of doors. Not to mention there's an entirely different process to get the Skull of Nunsapo, which is one of the best specialists, if not the best, but it requires lots of attention. You have to sprint back and forth, putting the skulls on the altars and killing what seems like dozens of thrashers, spiders, zombies, etc. And these thrashers, spiders, zombies, etc. are also spawning in regularly on regular rounds, penetrating you in the ass while you're trying to do all of this stuff. You have little to no points and you're struggling to scrape by with, let's say, an RK5 or a Kuda, some low quality gun. You also don't have any perks. Oftentimes you're trying to juggle challenges amongst all of these things to get those done efficiently as possible as well. The challenges often require watering plants, which take several rounds. They're very inconsistent and sometimes take multiple attempts to get the thing you need, which can take dozens of rounds if you really screw it up. This entire process takes roughly 45 minutes on solo for an experienced player. For inexperienced players, if they don't die within the first 10 rounds, are probably going to get this done in about an hour and a half. Obviously, things are sped up if you have gobblegums or a competent group of people, but this setup process is long it is difficult and is tedious to say the least. Oh, and I totally forgot about the KT4 upgrade to get the Masamune. You gotta grab 3 more parts on top of all of that stuff, one of which requires you to have done all of your challenges, every person's challenges in the game, so you can get the lightning shield, which is actually the biggest problem of the setup process. Everything feels required. The challenges that should be just some side thing for a side reward are required, and sometimes they're very difficult to complete. Getting the skull feels required. Getting the gas mask, since there's a spore on every square inch of the fucking map, feels required. Pack-a-punch is obviously a requirement, and the shield is required if you want to get the upgraded wonder weapon, which who doesn't? On a map like Horizon Drag, turning on the power and getting Pack-a-Punch, the 2 bare necessities, are very straightforward, and everything else is a bonus because the map is generally easy, and if you have a double-papped weapon, you're pretty much good. But on a map like Zetsubou, where the degree of difficulty is much higher, grabbing the skull feels much more necessary than grabbing the Ragnaroks on Horizon Drag. Setting up on this map is genuinely stressful. You have so many things to keep in mind. Making one small mental error could result in your death or having to restart an entire process. And if you're new to zombies and hop onto this map, forget it. You're not going to comprehend it unless you look up a tutorial or spend 4 hours trying to figure it out. Zetsubou defenders will point at Origins and Shadows of Evil and say, those have bad setup processes. Why does Zetsubou get shit? And my response is, A, the rewards on those maps are far better. B, not every single thing feels required. And C, you don't feel like you're starving on those maps. Shadows of Evil constantly gives you small bonuses, small Easter eggs that always give you more points and help you build yourself up. The Margwa gives you 1,500 points for killing one of those, and you can kill up to 3 of them before you turn on Pack-a-Punch. On Zetsubou, assuming you don't use Gobblegum, you really never have any points, or any perks, or a very good gun. As somebody who plays zombies quite a bit, I am fully capable of setting up on this map efficiently, but 90% of the community is casual and doesn't know it very well. I don't necessarily have a problem with doing extra tasks. In fact, I think they're fun for a little bonus to do on higher rounds when you're bored. But cramming a very difficult and lengthy setup process down everybody's throat without giving them many options is bad. Setting up on this map doesn't feel fun, it feels like a to-do list. And it also feels like Farming Simulator. I haven't even talked about the planning system much. The plants are very important on this map. They're versatile, they do many different things. Some of the perks in the map are actually exclusive to them, those being Deadshot and Electric Cherry. And, you know, constantly having to remember to water your plants every round gets annoying. Running around the map and collecting the water gets annoying. At the end of the day, we're here to kill zombies, not water plants. And in case you're not sold on this whole setup process thing, let me put this into perspective for you. Half of the Easter egg, half of the entire Easter egg is just getting the KT4 upgrade. You collect the 3 parts for the Masamune and you collect the 3 cogs. That is how long this setup process truly is. You're completing half of the Easter egg just by setting up. Assuming you're a casual player who isn't going for around 100, half of your game is just setting up for the game, which is clearly a problem. But I say all of that to say this. Beyond this dull, dreadful setup process, the map is actually great. Once you actually have everything, it's fun. You have so much to work with. It's just whether or not you actually want to complete the setup process to get to the glory of what Zetsubou is. Acquiring everything sucked, but now that you have it, it's a blast. The KT4 is a super cool wonder weapon. The Skull of Non-Sappo is probably the best specialist in Black Ops 3. The gameplay is just as good as any other map. And Zetsubou does have lots of features that aren't required that make the map fun, like the boss fight you can go to. You kill Mama Spider and you get some free Widow's Wine. And although the planning system is flawed, if you're on high rounds doing nothing and you just want some bonuses, they'll give you them. There were also 4 new weapons on the map, which made spinning the box valuable again. You have the MX Garand, the HG40, and the other 2 are actually exclusive to Zetsubou, those being the Razorback and the dual-wield Marshals. I don't normally talk about jump scares in these analysis videos, but on Zetsubou, the doppelganger jump scare is fucking creepy. I don't remember exactly how to do it, but once you do the process, I'm sure you could look it up. A clone of yourself, or the player you are playing with, will appear, and if you walk up to him, it'll give you a nice scare. And swimming was a new mechanic on this map. You could go to specific areas in the water and actually swim around. The map innovated quite a bit. And now let's shift gears towards the map design. The map doesn't flow perfectly, but it is symmetrical. On one side of the map you have Lab A, and on the other, Lab B. Items seem to be equally divided amongst them, and in the center you have the bunker. A lot of the map is compressed and very hard to train in, but don't let that fool you. This map is a very large map. The only effective ways to transport around the map is the sewer system and the zip line, which still aren't very effective and prove difficult for reviving players a distance. It also contributes to the tediousness of setting up because you're running around so much, because there's so much to the map. Past that, I don't see any major holes in the map design. Sure, some things are placed in odd locations or very hard to get to places, but they're far and few. The doors are a bit expensive, creative, but I wouldn't call that design. Completing the boss fight opens up not only the best training spot on the map, but the best camping spot on the map, the elevator. You have one very long corridor of zombies just sprinting towards you. And since the Easter egg is pretty much just setting up plus getting 3 cogs, it's actually smart to do the entire Easter egg pretty much every time you play this map, so you can get these areas of the map open, which again, I think is foolish to make necessary, but so be it. And while we're talking about the Easter egg, let's talk about the Easter egg. You grab the 3 cogs to activate the elevator, which will take you down to the boss room where Takeo is. You break him free with your Masamune, hitting the 4 spores on him. The cutscene ensues. Takeo 1.0 kills himself via seppuku. Takeo learns that his whole life is pretty much a lie. The Emperor was actually the one who sent him to this nightmarish island, which is crazy because Takeo is constantly talking about honoring the Emperor. The Emperor is actually the one who isn't honorable. Fucking revelation right there. The Easter egg is pretty easy and is relatively fun. There are a few what the fuck moments in there, but I have no major complaints. And now for a brief moment, let's talk about the bosses. The Thrashers are fucking terrible. The Thrashers are inarguably a top 5 worst boss in zombies. They don't give you any reward for killing them. They spawn in way too frequently. I mean, on high rounds, you can have up to 5 or 6 of them on the map at a time, 12 per round maybe, and they're just difficult enough to kill where you just want to throw your fucking controller. You have to shoot the 3 spores in different locations on its body. It's annoying. The Thrashers are terrible. The Spiders are a little less terrible. They're more pesky. They're small and kind of hard to shoot, and they like to shoot webs all over the map and make it hard for you to navigate, but I think the Spiders are very good for the map. They add a lot. The atmosphere fits in perfectly with them. If they took the Thrashers out of this map, I think the map instantly gets better. I think the Spiders are integral though. And again, that giant boss spider that's completely optional is also a great addition. In conclusion, Zetsubou no Shima is equally flawed as it is great. The setup process is absolutely dreadful, but if you decide to push through it and get to the other side, you're gold. This map offers just as good of gameplay as any other Black Ops 3 map. Some may argue high rounds in this map are more fun and interactive than in any other map. Zetsubou is truly an amazing map, but is disguised by its reputation, disguised by its terrible setup process. Most people would prefer to play a different map entirely than to push through this setup process, but the people who do push through this setup process are rewarded greatly. Think about it like this. There's a giant brick wall, and on the other side there's a chest full of gold. If you have the perseverance to punch through that brick wall, you're gonna get a great experience. Unfortunately, that's not the case for a lot of people, hence why Zetsubou is regarded as one of the worst maps. There are other maps that struggle with this problem. Shadows of Evil and Origins, like I said earlier, have relatively long and complex setup processes. But again, the rewards with those maps seem greater. The replayability with those 4 stabs are much higher. Zetsubou requires you to do just a little too much for my taste. The map is nowhere near replayable. In fact, I could probably only play this map once a week. Nobody is playing this map more than once a day. I personally think Zetsubou is a good map with a bad setup process. It's a very polarizing map. A lot of people seem to enjoy it and an equal amount of people hate it. I think the people that like this map like it for the right reasons, and I think the people that dislike this map also dislike it for the right reasons. It's a beauty in disguise, and I hope you guys enjoyed this analysis. If you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Hold on, don't leave yet. I got a few things to say. If you aren't following me on Twitter, what are you doing, man? Go follow me on Twitter. The link is in the description. It's completely free, and I'm a great tweeter. I promise you that. Also, my Instagram link is down there, as well as my Discord. I need more people in my Discord. I'm not always on there, I'll admit, but I like to chat with you guys sometimes, so go join my Discord down below in the description as well. I'll be honest, the more likes I get in this video, the more encouraged I will to continue the series, so if you enjoy it, make sure to show your support. I hope you have a great day. Sincerely, from your boy, Tim. And, I gotta go, so have a good one.